In my opinion, he's the most beloved player in Rays history. Now, I know some people will say Evan Longoria or Ben Zobrist or Carl Crawford or any of the great pitchers that they had. I'm not saying he's the best player in Rays history, but I think he's the most beloved. You look at what he was able to do in 2020, that Babe Ruthian type performance that he had. Just look at his numbers. Incredible. Look at him scoring that run on that Brett Phillips walk-off. I mean, him just crawling to home plate. That's one of the most iconic moments in baseball history. Forget about the Tampa Bay Rays. And then Randy Land and the way that he interacted with fans. We got 4 baseballs from Randy Arozarena in one game for Steph's kids. Those 2 little girls both walked out with 2 baseballs each, and they were grinning from ear to ear. You cannot duplicate that. You cannot put into words what that impact meant for those 2 little girls. There's no amount of money that could replace what they had that day. That memory will live with them forever. And when you think about it, one thing that really hurts the Rays and has the last couple of years when it comes to the familiarization with the players and the fan base is that they do have a lot of Latin ball players, and there's a good chunk of them that can only really communicate through a translator. So it is brief interactions with the fans. There's not a ton of in-depth conversations, and we don't hear from them as much. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just kind of the nature of the beast. But it just stands out to me so much that even though he wasn't able to have a ton of verbal communication with the fans because of that language barrier, um, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. He still had such a strong bond with the fan base, and a fan base that is heavily ridiculed, directly related to the attendance, usually at the home games at Tropicana Field. But you look at what Randy was able to do. I mean, he injected life into this franchise. He injected life into this fan base. He made it cool to be a Rays fan. And it wasn't just because like he was the best player or the greatest left fielder or he was an all-star, which he did make one all-star game with the Tampa Bay Rays. It was his personality. It was that smile. It was him. It was just Randy being Randy. And you just never knew what was going to happen. But you were glad as hell that he was a member of the Tampa Bay Rays. I don't know if you'll ever see anything like that again. A Randy Land, like who else is going to get that? And who else is going to embrace it as much as Randy Rosarena did? Taking baseballs out with him to left field, tossing the balls into the crowd. He's chopping it up with fans in the on deck circle. Um, he is the most beloved player in Tampa Bay Rays history. His impact is not something that is ever going to be diminished. It's never going to be forgotten. It sucks that he's with the Seattle Mariners right now and he's hurting the Rays with a big 3-run home run, but that doesn't take away the impact that he's had here. It doesn't take away all the great memories. And I know Randy wasn't having the greatest offensive year, but there's just something that he brought to the table. There's something intangible that he brought every single day he was at the park that made fans happy and joyful and proud to be Rays fans. Randy is a special guy, and that connection that he has with the fans was so unique. I don't think we'll ever see anything quite like that ever again.